Sixth grade. This video is going to be the 3-9 homework review. So you were assigned 2 to 40 even, and I'm going to go over those problems with you now. Number 2 was 7/10 divided by 5/10. First thing you need to do is get rid of that decimal place in your divisor. That's not mathematically allowed. Then you can put your decimal straight up after you move this one as well. Now we can start to divide. I guess I'll do long division on this one. I still have a remainder, and we don't have remainders anymore, so we need to add a 0 to our dividend, drop that down, and you can see that we are now done. And our answer for that problem was 1 4/10. I'm going to move on to problem 4. Again, we have decimal in our divisor, so we move that, move the decimal in the dividend as well, and then put our decimal straight up. 15 does not go into 3, so I need to add a 0. 15 does go into 30 2 times, and that's it. Our answer is 2/10. For number 6, we have 9 divided by 4/10. We get rid of our decimal in our divisor. We didn't have a decimal in our dividend, but we need to put one after the 9 because we need to move that over 1 then. And of course, to fill in our egg carton, we're going to drop in an egg or a 0 and then shoot our decimal straight up into our quotient. Now I can divide 90 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9. I would have 1 left over. I have 2 left over now, and I need to add a 0 so that I can continue going on and not get a remainder. 4 goes into 25 times, and I have no remainder now, and my answer is 22 5/10. And 2 problems 8 and 10 are here. I need to get rid of my decimals first, and then I can divide. Add another 0 because I had a remainder still. And now that I don't have a remainder, we're done with number 8, and our answer is 2 5/10. Number 10 has 2 decimal places in our divisor, so we're going to have to move the decimal in our dividend over 2, add that 0, and put our decimal straight up. And now we can start our division. Add a 0 because we had a remainder. We still have a remainder, so we add another 0. And let's see. And I guess this goes into 5 times. Oh, and it does. And now we don't have a remainder, so now we're done. For number 10 would be 1 25/100. 2, 12, and 14. So with this one, we're going to get rid of our decimal in our divisor first. There's no decimal here, so we add 1 after the 16. Add those 2 zeros, move our decimal up, and now we can divide. And that one divides out real quick. It's 200 for your answer. Number 14, we have 4 divided by 8, which in the past you probably would have thought, well, we can't do that. We can do 8 divided by 4, which is 2, but can't do this. Well, now that you know how to divide without remainders, we don't have a decimal in our divisor, so we just need to add a decimal and a 0 after the 4. And now we can say our decimal will go straight up. We can divide this, and there's our answer. How easy was that? 5/10 is our answer for 14. Numbers 16 and 18, we are going to get rid of that decimal in our divisor and our dividend, and now we can divide. We need to add a 0 because 24 does not go into 6. 24 would go into 60, thinking 3 times. Whoops, nope, it's only 2 times. That would have been too big. So we subtract, get 12. We have to add another 0 because we had a remainder. And now we figure out how many times does 24 go into 120. If it's 5. And now that we don't have a remainder, we're done. So our answer is 25 hundredths. Moving on to 18, this division problem was written horizontally. 3/10 divided by 2. So first we need to write that with a division bar. There's no decimal here, so we can go ahead, move our decimal straight up, and start our division. We would have a remainder, so we add a 0. And now we have no remainder, so our answer is 15 hundredths. Moving on, number 20 is also written horizontally. So the first thing we need to do is write that using a division bar. And then I need to move my decimal in my divisor, move my decimal in my dividend the same number of places, add in that placeholder 0, fill my egg carton, and move my decimal straight up. Now I can start to divide. 32 does not go into 30, so I put a 0 there. I'm not done, so I need to add another 0. 32 would go into 300. And I guess 9 times. And let's see, 27, 28. We subtract. Get 12 as a remainder, which means we need to add another 0 because we're not done yet. Drop that down, and now I'm figuring out how many times does 32 go into 120. And let's see, 30 would go in 4 times, so it must be 3. I think I underestimated my space I needed here. So let's see. Whoops. Hang on. We're just going to do that. So 3 times 2, and then 3 times 3, and we subtract, and I get 24. And then I'm going to have to add another 0 because I still have a remainder. And 32, oh, let's see, how many times does it go into 240? I guess 7 here. And then I subtract, I get 16. Still have a remainder, so I am going to add another 0. 32 goes into 160. I guess this is 5 times. Multiply it out. And now we don't have a remainder. So our answer for number 20 was 9,375 10,000ths. Moving on to number 22, we do not have a decimal out here, so our decimal is just going to shoot straight up into our quotient, and then I divide. 4 does not go into 3, so I'm going to put a 0 there. 4 goes into 36 9 times, and that would be our answer. Number 24, I had to erase for the sake of number 20. So let me rewrite that one. 24 is 8/10 divided by 80. Again, I have no decimal in my divisor, so I just move my decimal straight up. 80 does not go into 8, so I put a 0. And 80 goes into 80 one time, and that's our answer, 1/10. Number 26, first we need to move our decimals, and then we can divide. 62 does not go into 37, so I put a 0. And 62 goes into 372. Well, I know 6 goes into 37 6 times, so let's try 6. Oh, and look at that. It worked. Have no remainder, so we're done. Our answer is 6/100. Now on to 28. First thing we have to take care of is moving that decimal. 6 does not go into 3, but it does go into 36, and our answer is 6/100. So number 30, we have no decimal in our divisor, so that decimal can go straight up. 9 does not go into 4, so we put a 0. 9 goes into 41 4 times, which would be 36. We subtract, bring that 4 down, and 9 goes into 54 6 times, and we get no remainder, so we're done. Our answer there is 46 thousandths. For 32, again, we have no decimal in our divisor, so we move the one in our dividend straight up into our quotient, and we can divide this out really quickly. And our answer here is 11 thousandths. For number 34, we have a decimal we need to take care of. Do that. 8 does not go into 3, but it goes into 32 4 times evenly. And then it goes into 8 once, so our answer is 41 thousandths. Number 36, we take care of our decimals. 71 does not go into 14, but it goes into 142 twice with no remainder. So that answer would be 2/100. Our last two problems, 38 and 40, both are written horizontally. So the first thing that we need to do is write those with our division bar. And then we take care of our decimals. And now we can start dividing. 4 does not go into 3, but 4 goes into 32 8 times, well, goes into 35 8 times, which is 32. Thinking out loud there. Bring down my 2, and 4 goes into 32 8 times. And we have no remainder, so our answer is 88 hundredths there. For number 40, we have, oh dear, we have 42 hundred thousandths divided by 4/10. So we're going to write that with our division bar. Lots of zeros here. And then we take care of our decimal. Have some zeros. 4 goes into 4 once, no remainder. 4 does not go into 2. Don't forget to put that placeholder 0 here. And then we have 4 goes into 20, which is 5 times. And our answer here would be 105 hundred thousandths. 105 hundred thousandths. That's it for the homework review for lesson 3-9. If you guys have any questions, you can ask them in our next Zoom, which will be actually a week from tomorrow. If you have questions that you want to ask in the meantime, please feel free to post those to the discussion board on your math classes site on Rediker. And I will be posting lesson 312 later today. See you guys then.